Okay, so there's a few important things that you want to think about when you're tuning in unison. Um, One of them is generally, as you tune a note, you're usually coming from below pitch. And so you want to try to pull the note up a little bit above pitch, because there's going to be some pullback from the pin. So if you notice, I pulled it up above, and then I settled the pin in onto the pitch. Does that make sense? And I've heard this explained in several different ways, and I guess I'm sure they all come into account in some different way, but I'm not sure what degree which one comes into account. So there's the idea that the string needs to be settled into place. So there's added tension on the string, and the tension may need to be equalized on either side of this capo bar here. But also that the pin itself is of a material that's going to bend a little bit, and it's going to twist. So there's some twisting that happens on the actual pin that you need to relieve or prepare for that tension to be relieved once you let go of the hammer. And so that's what rationalizes, bringing the hammer above pitch and then allowing it to fall back a little bit and even coaxing it a little bit back in to place. Now, the other thing that you need to do is use test blows. That's more, I think of it more as equalizing the tension on the string. Often you'll find that you tune the note, it's a little bit sharp, but you give it a test blow, and it kind of falls into exactly where you want it to be in tune. The other thing about tuning notes is that you want to use really small movements whenever possible. Unless you have to pull it in from very far out of the tune, you shouldn't be kind of like going way this way and way that way. You really want to get it close. And once you're above pitch, you don't want to have to go back below it again. So everything that you do is a very small movement. And sometimes I use this tapping technique. And you can almost kind of feel, if you're really sensitive to it, you can feel the pin inching a little bit within the wood when you kind of tap it with those small movements. At least that's what it feels like is happening to me. And if you can't feel that happening, chances are the pin, or at least that's a reinforcing feeling that the pin moved a little bit and settled in somewhere. And a really experienced tuner can take a note that's out of tune, it's below pitch, and they just, with basically one movement, they bring it above pitch and right onto pitch, and then they move on to the next note without going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Okay? You want to give it a try? I was holding my arm in the air, which I've gotten used to doing, but I believe what's easier for most people is to rest an arm on a surface. What do you guys do?
It varies. I know that doing it by the book is to always have
your elbow
firmly planted. That
planted.
gives more stability. Sometimes though with the jiggle, I don't feel like you need your elbow to be planted. You can just lightly tap the pin to settle it in.
It's also a little bit easier on your shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, you can use your hand more than you're using your whole body, your arm. You don't need to use it. So it gives you a little bit more nuance. But for some reason, I've gotten used to that.